I'm Vin.
I'm Sori.
That's Sparky.
And Salty.
Shout out to the big homie Chip. I think we're gonna keep Chip like right here.
Okay.
But I fear that he will not make it.
I fear.
Fear.
We'll set him by the computer
This is Psychosocial from Slipknot.
Okay.
You're starting to be like a new metal fan. You like Disturbed. You like Slipknot a lot.
I do. Yeah.
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 Yeah. You're a new metal fan.
New metal and
Prague.
I couldn't remember the name of it.
Just please hit play. It's been a very long day.
I know. No kidding. I want to watch some Viking with you.
I'll tell you
Let's go
what.
to bed and watch some Viking.
Yeah. I'll tell you what. If you want to be a successful YouTuber, you have to grind. And
Not have a life outside of YouTube.
It's true. And you have to not compromise.
Yeah, I know. I was like, Vin, let's just skip it tonight, man.
Nope.
Like, it's 11.
Not gonna be able to do it.
It took me a while to say the words because I knew how he was going to respond. He's like, just say it if you have an idea. I'm like, it's already 11:30. Like, why do we have to put out a 7 o'clock show since we missed it anyway? Nope! The people! We promised the people! The villagers are They have pitchforks, he said. No, you didn't.
I didn't say that.
Alright, so now here we are with Slipknot. Psychosocial. Sounds interesting. And you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Those headphones on. Go.
Who needs another you fight, your purple lines are giving out. It's a fucking idea. If it's nothing season, is this what you want? I'm not the only one. And the rain will kill us all. We throw ourselves against the wall, but no one else can see the preservation of the martyr in me. And the rain will kill us all. We throw ourselves against the wall, but no one else can see the preservation of the martyr in me. The limits of the dead. The limits of the
Woo!
You're definitely a Slipknot fan.
Yes, I love it.
What?
I love it. I love the way that they yell and the. And at the
Okay.
beginning, what was the first line?
Oh, yeah.
When he says, "I did my time," I was like, I wanted him to say that part again. I just wanted to hear that part again, but it didn't happen. It wasn't in the cards, I guess.
There's this character on Lost, the smoke monster. And
Yeah.
there's these two brothers that...
It's right there. Stop! I gotta just hear it one more time. Oh, I did my time.
Korn has a song called In My Time.
Well, what? Would I like it?
I don't know. We'll see. We'll review it soon. Hmm?
Okay, so
Anyway,
smoke
Lost.
character.
There's a smoke monster, and I'm sorry, I'm giving out a Lost spoiler, but what can you do? So, like we saw this episode. Like, there's a good guy. He wears a white shirt, and there's a bad guy. He wears a black shirt.
I never saw that part. But
And like,
okay.
so anyway, there's this part, and like he's supposed to guard the island, but like he's trying to get off the island. He's been there for
Yeah.
hundreds of years or whatever, and he's like, I'm getting out of this place.
Yeah,
So like, it's Psychosocial is the name of the
song.
song.
Yep.
Which I'm
And
assuming.
the album is All Hope Is Gone.
Excellent. So, I'm assuming that what he means is that the entire society is psychotic,
Okay.
psychosocial, right?
Yep.
Like, so everybody's crazy. Mm-hmm. You know, so he's done his time in society. He wants out. Mm-hmm. You know, the soul is not so vibrant. The reckoning, the sickening, packaging, subversion, pseudo-sacrosanct perversion.
Go drill your deserts. Go dig your graves. And fill your mouth with all the money you will save.
Well,
Is this drilling for oil? Is that what we're talking about? Yeah.
well, well, it's interesting because he says your purple heart is giving out. Which, you see that right there?
Yep.
Your purple hearts are giving out. Which, that's, you get a purple heart if you get wounded in combat.
Yep.
So when it says, go drill your deserts, you know, that's like people going to war for you know, in the desert for oil. Right? So, like, go dig your graves, but then you can fill your mouth with all the money you'll save. Like, you'll save on gas prices because, you know, we stole all the oil and all that jazz. Like, that's sort of like the there is this thing called, like, I think it's called the Project for a New American Century,
Yeah.
and it was this really crazy neocon document that basically said America's the greatest country in the world and we should just run shit, we should just take shit over. So it was very
What is it about us that we always think that's what we should do?
who's us?
Americans.
Well, any superpower in world history has that mentality.
That's
it's not just
true.
American. I mean, God
true.
almighty. We're actually, in my opinion, the most reserved
Well,
superpower of all time.
considering what level of power we do have, that we could do a
Yeah,
lot.
we could hurt people.
That's true.
More than we have. But anyway, pseudo-sacrosanct perversion. That is very interesting.
Yeah, what does that mean?
So sacrosanct is like,
We got false.
you know, sacre, you know, sacred.
Yeah.
Perversion So like, there's something that we're holding sacred
Yeah.
that's really a perversion. Does that make sense? There's something that we're holding as holy that's really just perversion.
Okay, and what is that
Anything
thing?
holy. Well, it says, drill your deserts, dig your graves, think about the money you'll save. So it's like, it's basically our society holds, you know, money or whatever it is holy, and it's really a perversion. Mm-hmm. And that's what makes us psychotic.
Oh, well.
That's what makes our culture crazy.
Well, yeah, because... Oh, that's interesting.
What?
You know the verse that says, the love of money is the root of all evil?
Yeah.
Not money. Money's not the root of all evil.
Right.
You need
like,
money.
That's probably like the most misquoted verse of all
Right.
time.
There was a money is the root of all
the
evil.
love
It's the love
money
of it.
is the root of all evil.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what do you mean by that? So you're saying that fill your mouth with all the money you'll save, but you're dead. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Or you're eating the money, which is obviously no benefit to you. The rain will kill us all. Throw ourselves against the wall. What do you got? What do you got with
I
that?
had no idea what throw yourself against the wall meant.
Well, in a Trump America, that's different. that changes, right?
Yeah. The rain will kill us all. I don't know. Honestly, the only thing that I was thinking about, which probably has nothing to do with it, but remember we talked about those, what was it? Where was it? Where the levee, they put...
New Orleans?
Yeah, New Orleans, they put less money into it and fixing it like that. Like, there's a wall that's holding everything back. The rain will kill us all because it's actually a buildup of rain that, like, ends up making it come out. The rain will kill us all.
Yeah, I was thinking about the flood.
Against the wall. Yeah, I thought of the flood also, but then I went to the levee instead.
Yeah, it's like you're trying to escape. You're throwing yourselves against the wall to try to. You're trapped in this room, and you're trying to break out. But it's gonna kill you. Everybody's gonna drown. You're not gonna be able to break out.
But no one else can see.
The preservation of the martyr in me. It's like everybody's dying. Everybody's gonna die, but
Yeah.
somehow he's gonna remain a martyr. Like his death is gonna be more virtuous than everybody else's death.
Okay. Why is it saying the preservation? Oh, because he's preserving the fact that he's going to be a martyr when everybody else is just going to die.
Nobody else can see
Yep.
that he's preserving his martyrdom, that his death is different than everybody else's death. You know what's really interesting? You know, sinking, getting smaller again, I'm done, it has begun, I'm not the only one. Like, he's done with society, he's done with everything, and he's not the only one. And then he talks about the rain will kill us all. Like, we're all gonna die if society continues to go this way. And we're throwing ourselves against the wall to try to break out. But he somehow is righteous. Like, everybody has this idea of like a righteous death. And like in Judaism, there's a whole theology around the suffering of the righteous, you know, which atones for the wicked. Right? So like that's one of the, you know, like I was reading a paper one time, and it was this rabbi who was explaining that the Holocaust, you know, paid for a lot of sins, and you know, paid for the sins of almost the world because it was so harsh. So, and you have like the suffering of the servant in Isaiah 53, which we interpret as one person, Jesus.
Yep.
But in a lot of Judaism, the suffering servant in Isaiah 53 is the righteous, because you have a whole society, and then within that society you have everybody's fucked up, but then you have like this righteous minimum, like minority, and the righteous minority suffers, and then that redeems the whole, is the idea. So like, I don't think Judaism is in his mind at all, but it's the same. It's a similar concept that everybody's dying, but he's dying as a martyr. He's dying as a righteous person. I'm assuming his righteousness comes from the fact that he's speaking out against it. It's like everybody's dying, you know, everybody's, you know, everything's all tore up. But if you're like silent and you're a silent participant while the flood is happening, it's a lot different than somebody who's saying, hey, we're going to kill ourselves, this is destructive, come on guys, we're all crazy. So if he dies, it's different.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
It's funny that this has nothing to do with anything, but so Muhammad had this famous battle, the Battle of Badr, and he killed a bunch of the bad guys. Then the bad guys fought back in the Battle of Uhud, and they killed a bunch of Muhammad's friends. So this guy's walking around, and Muhammad was like, he was injured. He was injured pretty bad, actually. It was a serious injury. And so they were all in hiding. So this guy is walking back and forth, and he's saying, hey, you know, you guys beat us in Badr, but we got you back in here, and now you're in hiding, and blah, blah, blah. And Muhammad said, your dead are not like our dead. Our dead are in Jannah, and your dead are in hellfire.
Oh my god.
But it's this idea, like, you have to, like, you and we do this, like, we differentiate between deaths, like, you know, if a firefight happens and our guys die and their guys die, we're gonna say that our guys are heroes and that their guys were terrorists. You know what I mean? Like, so everybody kind of ends up in the same thing. Everybody's gonna end up in the grave, but it's kind of like, how do you want to go out? Do you want to go out as like one of the wicked, or do you want to go out as a martyr who stood for something? Because the term martyr means witness. Right. And the witness, you're witnessing to something, you're bearing witness to something. And, you know...
What is he bearing witness about?
Well, exactly. You know...
That all society is psychotic?
That's the question. I think the Muslims are onto something, because you want to die saying La ilaha illallah Muhammadan Rasulullah.
Which means?
Which is, there's no God but God, and Muhammad is the messenger of God. Okay. But that's called the shahada. It's like the witness, the testimony. Yep. But, you know, but I love that, obviously I'm not a Muslim, but I love the concept of...
It's not obvious, that's why everybody always asks.
I love the concept of having in your mind, like, what are you going to be, what's the last thing out of your mouth when you die?
Yeah, no, I hear you.
Like, that is super important, and like being the type of person that thinks about that on a daily basis, so that when you die, like, what are you going to leave this world with? And that's how you can be a martyr in that sense, in the sense of, like, you're giving testimony to something. So, like, what are you going to give testimony to? Yeah. You know, and I think, you know, Jacob's, what he said to his sons, I think in Isaiah 49, where he says, you know, to the God who's been with me from my youth, to, you know, to the shepherd who's watched over me, and to the angel who's been with me all my life long, bless these boys. Like,
I love that line.
Yeah, and he's like, it's like one of the last things he says in the Bible, and it's like extremely significant that God has been God to you. He's been a shepherd, and he's been your angel all your life long. You know, he's looked after you, and like, that's an important point. They're like, the term martyr is kind of like a risky term to write, because anytime you say that, people go, oh, here we go, oh, you're a martyr. You know, like, anytime you have a righteous cause and you're self-conscious about the fact that you have a righteous cause, people make fun of it, or people
really?
Yeah, oh yeah. You've ever heard the phrase, don't be a martyr, or here you go, martyr?
Martyr complex.
Yeah, you have a martyr yeah, like, people, anytime that you, like, have the self-consciousness that you're doing something for a righteous cause, people will say, there you go.
People are always talking, though, literally.
I know.
They're always talking, and they're always giving their opinions. It's just like...
That's ironic coming from a reaction channel.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it is completely ironic. But sometimes I'm like, everybody needs to just be quiet for like 2 seconds and stop and think a little bit before you talk. Because when you talk to a lot of people, you start realizing that everybody has had like hurtful stuff said to them, you know what I mean, over the years. Something that, from as small as you're stupid, to... But that seems small to the person saying it, maybe, but to the person that it was said to, it affects them very, like, deeply sometimes. So sometimes, man, everybody needs to just shut the fuck up and think about what you're saying before you just say it, instead of just saying everything that comes to your freaking head.
Great.
Well, it's true, you know? Man, stop. Well, it's just because you were talking about, you know, somebody on a martyr complex. Like, they can't just have anything without people having something to say about it.
I know. Yeah.
Can't you just let somebody be happy?
Yeah, like these poor millennials, like they're stupid millennials. They're out there playing video games and wasting their lives. So then you know, David Hogue and his friends get up there and start speaking about gun control. Oh, you stupid millennials! You guys don't know.
Saying.
You don't know anything. It's like, okay.
So you don't want them on their video games. You don't want them speaking out. What is it that you want these kids doing?
Yeah, you want them to do exactly what you think they should do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think millennials are awesome.
Yeah.
These cracks in the road we laid. That's interesting. Like we all put ourselves in Western culture on this path.
Yeah.
But there's cracks in the road.
Because we fuck everything up.
Like
Can't do anything perfectly.
It's flawed.
Yeah.
But where the temple fell, the secrets have gone mad. You see that?
Yeah, what does that mean?
The temple fell. To me, it looks like the end of religion.
The secrets have gone mad.
Nietzsche was talking about like killing God.
Well, it says there is nothing new, but when we killed it all,
the hate was all we had. Yeah. Yeah, all these people that want to get rid of religion.
Yeah.
I was talking to a guy yesterday. He said, teaching your kids about God is child abuse. I said, well, what do you propose we do about that? He's sadly nothing. Like, yeah, sadly he can't do anything about me indoctrinating my kids with religion. Well, once the temple falls, what else do you have, sir? You know, you
have that movie, that one we always talk about, where everything was the Purge.
Yeah. Now there's only emptiness, venomous, and insipid. I think we're done. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There's your world without the temple. There's your world without the temple, sir. Good old night. Okay. I do think it's like, I wonder sometimes if these people like would realize like what type of world we would have, at least in the West, with zero Christian influence.
Yeah.
Which, you know, this is going to be controversial with some people, but that's okay. That's why we're here. Yeah. Let's say who needs another mess? We could start over. Yeah. Go ahead and start. And you know what's funny? Like people will point to like, you know, Sweden and things like that. These are supposedly atheistic countries and go, oh, those people are happy. They still inherited the bedrock of Western culture that had Christianity and Judeo-Christian ethic to bedrock it. So what happens is you have people who take the ethics of Judeo-Christianity and then divorce God from it and say, see, we're happy with an atheistic society. Nice try. Show me a society that you can build without jacking
anything from the Christian
without jacking
worldview.
Something from a Christian Judaism or a Muslim worldview and tell me how that society is running itself. Don't give me a society that has like, you know, a history of churches and shit.
Right.
And then, you know, it's like the teenager who moves out of his parents' house, but he's a trust fund kid.
Right. Yeah.
So now he's like, he's taken all the trust fund like went live for him, so now he can spend all the money, and now he's like, I don't need my parents.
Right.
Plus, there he is in his BMW.
Right.
That he didn't earn.
Right.
And then he's going back and looking at his parents, going, "Ha!" Plus, like, it's ridiculous.
Who are these people to just say, and they're happy over there? You never heard the grass is greener on the other side? Like, how the fuck do you know they're happy?
Well, there's polls and stuff like that, which is a ridiculous. It's
Are
also,
you happy? Yeah, I don't understand.
It's also very ridiculous. I mean, it's ridiculous. Like, come on, please. There's a reason why I'm not even gonna get into that. You know, if somebody wants to debate me on that topic, then you know, let's do it. Let's set it up. You know what's funny? Every time I invite atheists to debate, I've only had two of them. One very, very famous one, and then one very, very honest one.
You know what I find?
Both of those are mutually exclusive, by the way.
Yeah. The thing that I find ironic is whenever he puts out an invitation, magically nobody takes it on. Or whatever. And then eventually somebody will say, hey, I want to do it. And the minute that person starts talking, then everybody starts roasting them.
Yeah, they have all these opinions.
If you had so many opinions, why don't you just come on the show and have a conversation with Vin?
Yeah. I'm very disappointed. You were unprepared. Really?
I'm very disappointed that you didn't take that invitation.
Yeah, you should have took up the invitation. Show us how it's done.
Yeah.
All right. We're in a very sour mood right now. We're slaying everyone.
I'll take my bow and arrow.
Well, switch, transition.
It's so funny because sometimes you'll be watching different learning stuff on the YouTube channels or something. You'll be like, wow, that guy's looking bitter. We're not bitter. Seriously, we're having a good time. We're just
just tired.
We're just being more honest.
And we want to watch Vikings.
You know what it was? I talked to OTEP and I'm like, that's right.
That's right. Now you feel all
yeah,
you feel all empowered to fuck shit up, right?
I'm like, let somebody say something.
Say something. You know the little thing.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Very important.
Yeah, just
you put yourself up.
Put too much in there, and then I'll punch right in my face.
Yeah, you'd be on the ground. The limits of the dead. I think that's an interesting line.
Why?
There's only so much you can do when you're dead.
Mm-hmm. True.
And if all of us are gonna die anyway, you know, that's a very significant line, man. Like, think about the whole Calvinist Arminian discussion.
Yeah.
Like, can a dead sinner come to God on their own?
Yeah.
Limits of the dead. You're limited. No, you can't. You had to be regenerated before you can, whatever. Nobody knows what we're talking about.
No, that's a
fake anti-fascist lie. Psychosocial. I tried to tell you, but, you know, that's interesting. Is like, you know, this word fascist is getting thrown around all over the place.
Yeah.
And people are saying that Trump is a fascist. And I don't disagree with that, actually. But then you have other people on the other side who act fascistically. Like, try to force people to do things that they don't want to do, or like force them to go all over the place, and like
a new Patreon. I'm sorry.
God almighty, who cares? My point is, everybody's kind of like a fascist at some level. Like, everybody wants society to go the way they want them to go.
Of course.
You know, so it's like, it's a crazy idea. You can't stop a killing idea. That's such a good point. You can't stop a killing idea if it's hunting season. You know, like when they talk about like terrorism, I was watching this documentary on. It was like a school.
Yeah.
In Afghanistan.
Yeah.
And like they fought like for 4 weeks to liberate the school from as a stronghold to the Taliban.
Yeah. And
the journalist, like literally a bullet went phew, like almost killed him, and there was all this stuff that was going on and whatever, and they pretty much massacred everybody in the Taliban over there. And like, you know, it's at the end, they're like, you know, job well done and good job, and man, you almost died and we almost died and we cleared this out. And the guy was talking about how he was like, yeah, you know, like, you know, I'm doing this for a kid because this 9-year-old boy reminds me of my boy back home, and now he's gonna have a future without this fucking Taliban son of a bitch, you know, fucking with it and all this. And it was like, then you heard all the like inspirational music and shit, and then like it faded out, and there was one line. 2 weeks later, the Taliban retook the school. Troops went out, Taliban came back. And then nothing after that.
I just knew something was horrible was going to happen. That's why I wasn't celebrating when you told me that.
The thing is like the ideology of the Taliban is an ideology, and you cannot kill an ideology. You can kill people, but you can't kill an ideology. Like Caesar found that out with the quickness. Like, okay, you martyr all these Christians, that's fine. You can't kill an ideology.
Right.
And that's good. That's the best thing in the world and the worst thing in the world simultaneously.
Right.
Right? Like, that's everything. Because that's the thing that makes the society psychosocial and makes everything hopeless. And it's the only thing that gives your society hope.
Wow.
Is the fact that an idea can't be killed.
Right.
You know, and so like for me as a Christian, like when I think about the Jesus movement, and I go, okay, like as the idea. Now here's a crazy thing, like the idea that you could rise from the dead, even if these people kill you. As a matter of fact, that you can overcome the people that are killing you by dying willingly, and then dying with a testimony in your mouth, but not killing anyone as you're dying. There's a big difference there, right? Like, and the idea that the more and more that you put the principles of Christ into the atmosphere and into the consciousness of the people around you, and that can spread and change an entire culture, which we've seen happen historically. That to me gives me hope about the world. I mean, that's why I believe that the world is eventually going to be a better place, because, you know, with the advent of the internet and social media, there's a whole bunch of terrible shit happening.
Yep.
And there's a whole bunch of incredible shit happening simultaneously. And then you go, okay, like, which force is stronger? And I don't believe that the devil and Jesus are an arm wrestling match.
Right. No.
So.
Then do you think
that's an interesting line.
Okay, so God, then Jesus comes, and Jesus is the Word of God, but he comes in the flesh, and then an idea, but when he leaves an idea or an ideology.
Right.
So, what? Do you have anything to say about that? I feel like there's something more there, and I just can't.
Well, an ideology is a series of thoughts that dictate, how people are supposed to act.
Yeah.
Right. So, like, an ideology is a metaphysical. It doesn't have extension in time and space. It's a metaphysical concept. Mm-hmm. And so, like, when you think about Jesus, Jesus is called the Word or the Logos.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for the purposes of this discussion, we could say Jesus is the idea of God. He's the idea. Jesus is God's idea of reality and what everything is supposed to be. And then that idea becomes, how do you express your ideas? The way you express your ideas is through words.
Right.
Right, so that you translate the words that you're using are just really metaphors that you use to translate the ideas that are in your head.
Okay.
And now you speak. So then God's like, how do I get human beings to understand the idea of how to actually be human? Right? How do you get a human being to understand what a human being actually should be? And then boom, Jesus is like the every single thing that Jesus was doing.
That's cool.
Was the expression of that. Like,
so you're saying that God had a thought, an ideology.
Right.
And then he has the way that he expresses that. And he was talking throughout history, and that's why we have the scriptures. He was talking through the prophets.
Right.
He was talking through all these different ways, dreams, visions, whatever. And then he sends Jesus, who is, it says, the exact imprint of his nature. So this shows exactly the
perfect
idea.
Representation
perfect representation of it.
Yeah.
And then when Jesus leaves, it imprints that idea of God's idea into our minds, and now we have the thought process.
Yeah. And Jesus, no matter how much people want to front, he's an extremely compelling character that you either love and are fascinated with or you hate. Like Aaron Ra, I feel like that was a very clear moment of honesty. He was like, I can't stand Jesus. I'm like, okay, good, he gets it.
Yeah. Well, but there's a lot of people that I've noticed that will talk to us and they'll say, I'm a Satanist, or I'm a this, I'm a that.
Yeah.
And then they'll tell me that they like Jesus.
Right.
Always makes me cry when I hear that.
Right.
Not like a pity cry, but just like, like it just strikes me that, because you know what? I feel like, you know what I think it is? I think it's because, I love Jesus so much, and then when somebody like recognizes some of his greatness, like they might not believe all the ideas and they can throw it, but Jesus, it's like, well, yeah, they're, you know what I mean? Like, I think I like it when people notice him. I guess.
And he's a very, very compelling character.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, whatever your perspective is on anything, somebody's idea is going to dominate.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah.
Like, so when I hear these, leftist socialists, and I'm not using socialist in a pejorative, I'm saying these leftists, they're now, and they're talking about moving away from civility and discussion, and they're saying things like, fuck that shit. We need to, they want to enforce their ideology onto the world. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And so, like, I agree. Somebody's ideology is going to have to dominate. But the question is, how do you get ideas to dominate? Mm-hmm. Do you do it by, pulling governmental levers and forcing people to speak how you want them to speak and not speak the way you want them to speak, or whatever?
Through reason?
Or do you even have to even compelling through reason is not enough, because I don't believe that a lot of the racist folks that were around in the 50s and 60s really believed that black people were ontologically inferior to them, but wanted the societal benefits
of
their quote unquote superiority. Sure. So like, ideas, when it talks about not being able to kill an idea, like, ideas go to our heart, like, and that's why when you have a new idea, you get excited, because it's more than a cognitive exercise. It's something deep inside of you. So that's the thing, is like, you can't kill an idea, and that is either going to save or destroy us, period. And we're either going to go completely psychotic as a society, or we're going to be healed mentally once we align ourselves with the right idea. There you are. All right, what do you got?
Oh man.
What do you rate the song?
Shoot, I forgot.
I
I know. No, I remember the. I'm just saying, I forgot we were gonna rate it. I really liked it. I'm gonna give it a 9.5, and I think I would have given it a higher score if he would have said one more time. The I did my time. Yeah, if he would have said that a couple more times.
It's an 8 for me.
It's an 8. So why?
Oh, it was a good song. I didn't think it was
So
a
you're not a Slipknot person like I am.
No, I'm
like,
not a Slipknot person like you. I know.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know.
I love their energy level.
Yeah, I mean, that's not new to me though, and this is low compared to how they were in the first record. So.
Well, it's news to me. So.
All right. Been out.
Sorry,
Just destroyed my phone. Gone.